when gold meets XRP. For 5,000 years, gold has been the ultimate anchor of value. Empires have risen and fallen, but gold has remained. It backed currencies, secured trade routes, and served as the ultimate hedge against collapse. Then came the fiat era. Paper promises backed not by gold, but by trust. Trust in governments, trust in central banks, trust that debt could expand forever without consequence. But that trust is breaking. Inflation has eaten away at purchasing power. Nations are drowning in debt, and central banks quietly but consistently have been hoarding record amounts of gold. Why? Because history whispers a warning. When confidence in paper dies, gold always returns as the foundation of money. But in the 21st century, the return of gold won't look like the past. We're not going back to crates of bullion shipped across oceans. We're entering the digital age of tokenization, where every ounce of gold can be represented on a blockchain, instantly traded, instantly settled, and verifiably backed by reserves. This is where XRP enters the story. Ripple's vision for XRP has always been clear: a neutral bridge asset for global settlement. Fast, liquid, and trustless. It doesn't compete with currencies, and it connects them. And as the world shifts toward tokenizing real-world assets, from real estate to stocks to commodities, tokenized gold stands out as the crown jewel. But the question is, how will these digital gold tokens move? Who will provide the liquidity, the instant settlement, the interoperability between old systems and new? XRP is uniquely positioned to fill that role. Its consensus mechanism delivers near-instant transactions. Its liquidity pools already connect to banks, payment providers, and institutional corridors. And as Ripple expands its reach into tokenization, central bank digital currencies, and enterprise settlement, the possibility of XRP serving as the bridge for tokenized gold becomes more than speculation. It becomes inevitable. Imagine a reset scenario. Fiat currencies are strained under mountains of debt. Confidence collapses. Nations agree to back digital currencies with tokenized gold reserves. Every token is pegged to real ounces held in vaults. But to move value across borders, to convert between tokens, to provide liquidity between gold-backed dollars and gold-backed yuan, the world needs a neutral bridge. XRP was built for that exact moment. This isn't just about gold or XRP alone. It's about the convergence of the old world and the new. Gold provides trust, stability, and history. XRP provides speed, neutrality, and interoperability. Together, they could form the backbone of a financial system rebuilt for the digital age. And so, the story begins, not with a battle, but with a union. The eternal store of value meets the digital bridge of liquidity. Gold Tokenized.xrp mobilized. The reset realized. Part 1. Gold, the eternal reserve. Long before Bitcoin, long before the dollar, long before the idea of fiat currency, there was gold. Across civilizations, Egypt, Rome, China, the Americas, gold stood apart. It was rare, beautiful, incorruptible, and universally desired. It could not be printed, forged, or inflated. It was money in its purest form. For thousands of years, gold anchored empires. Armies marched to seize it. Merchants carried it along the Silk Road. Nations measured their power not by GDP, but by how much gold sat in their vaults. Gold was not just wealth, it was sovereignty. The modern financial system we know today was born from gold. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement tied the US dollar to gold and every other major currency to the dollar. For decades, this system gave the world confidence. Each dollar represented a claim to real metal locked away in Fort Knox. Gold provided stability, and nations trusted the United States to guard it. But in 1971, everything changed. Facing economic strain and mounting deficits, President Nixon severed the link between the dollar and gold. Overnight, money became an abstraction. Fiat currency was born, backed not by gold, but by government decree and central bank policy. At first, the system worked. Fiat allowed for flexibility, expansion, and credit-fueled growth. But as decades passed, the cracks deepened. Inflation eroded purchasing power. Governments borrowed beyond reason, fueling debt levels that now exceed $300 trillion globally. The anchor was gone, and the ship of global finance drifted without a tether. Still, gold never left the stage. Even after the world abandoned the gold standard, central banks quietly held onto their reserves. And in recent years, they've been buying more. In 2022 and 2023, central banks purchased more gold than at any time since records began. Why would they hoard an asset many economists dismiss as barbaric relic? Because when trust in paper fades, gold always returns. The world is again reaching a breaking point. Inflation shocks, currency wars, and systemic debt threaten confidence in fiat. And once more, gold is being looked to as the solution. But unlike in centuries past, this isn't about shipping bars across oceans. It's about digital trust, tokenized gold. By representing gold on blockchains as digital tokens fully backed by physical reserves, the world can merge history's most trusted asset with the future of finance. A tokenized ounce of gold could be traded instantly, settled globally, and verified transparently. No more relying on paper claims, no more opaque vault reports. Tokenized gold makes the old metal as fluid as data itself. And yet tokenized gold alone isn't enough. Value locked in tokens still needs a bridge, a way to move seamlessly across borders, between currencies, between systems. Without a neutral settlement layer, tokenized gold risks becoming fragmented just like fiat. That's where XRP comes in. As we step deeper into the story, one truth becomes clear. Gold is the eternal reserve, but XRP may be the key to mobilizing it for the digital age. Together, they don't just coexist, they redefine money itself. Part 2. The tokenization of gold. From vaults to blockchain, the concept of tokenized gold isn't science fiction, it's already happening. Across the globe, projects have emerged to bring the world's oldest money into the digital age. Companies like Paxos, Tether, and even traditional institutions have launched gold-backed tokens. Each represents a claim to real bullion stored in secure vaults, redeemable on demand. The appeal is obvious. Gold is immovable, heavy, and expensive to transport. But tokenize it, and suddenly it flows at the speed of the internet. A bar locked in a London vault can be traded across the world in seconds, divided into fractions, and settled without the friction of wires, intermediaries, or physical delivery. Tokenization takes gold's ancient stability and fuses it with modern efficiency. This transformation is bigger than retail investors buying fractional gold tokens. Central banks, too, are watching closely. Many already settle trade agreements using gold quietly behind the scenes. In a fractured world where trust in the US dollar is eroding, tokenized gold offers a neutral settlement option without depending on any single government. But tokenization is not without challenges. How do you ensure the gold is really there? How do you prevent corruption, manipulation, or double counting? This is where blockchain transparency becomes critical. Each tokenized ounce can be tied to auditable on-chain records. Combined with third-party audits and regulatory oversight, tokenized gold could be more verifiable than the opaque paper claims used in today's financial markets. The implications stretch beyond investment. Imagine global trade settled in tokenized gold. Imagine commodity contracts, loans, and even national reserves being digitized. A new standard could emerge. Not Bretton Woods 2.0, but a blockchain-native reserve system. And yet, tokenized gold still faces a problem: fragmentation. Today, dozens of gold-backed tokens exist, but they live in silos. One token is on Ethereum, another on Stellar, another on private ledgers. Each competes for liquidity. None are interoperable. Without a neutral bridge, tokenized gold risks becoming just another fractured asset class. This is where XRP becomes essential. XRP isn't just another token. It was designed from the ground up to provide liquidity and settlement between disconnected networks. Its consensus mechanism allows for near-instant transfers. Its trust lines enable asset issuance, and RippleNet already connects banks and payment providers worldwide. With XRP, tokenized gold could move between blockchains, between fiat, between CBDCs, all without friction. The XRPL could serve as the universal settlement layer, ensuring that tokenized gold isn't trapped in silos but becomes a fluid, borderless reserve. Picture this. A central bank in Asia holds tokenized gold reserves on its private blockchain. A trade deal requires settlement in Europe, where tokenized gold is issued on a different chain. Instead of cumbersome conversion and middlemen, XRP bridges them instantly. Gold, digitized and mobilized, moves at the speed of liquidity. This isn't just a technical fix, it's a paradigm shift. By combining tokenized gold with XRP as a bridge, the world gains both stability and mobility. Gold provides trust, XRP provides movement. One is the anchor, the other the engine. And if this system takes hold, the balance of global power could change forever. The dollar's dominance rests on being the world's reserve currency. But what if the new reserve isn't a currency at all, but tokenized gold? flowing through the rails of XRP. The story is no longer about whether tokenized gold is possible. It already exists. The story is whether XRP will become the bloodstream that makes it work for the world. Part 3. Why XRP is the bridge for tokenized gold. Tokenized gold solves one half of the problem: trust. By tying each token to real, audited bullion, it restores confidence and value at a time when fiat currencies are drowning in debt. But trust alone is not enough. A world of tokenized gold locked on isolated ledgers would be like a world of private internets, powerful, but disconnected. To function as money, tokenized gold must move. And movement is where XRP shines. From its inception, XRP was built to solve the cross-border settlement problem. Banks and corporations have long relied on SWIFT, a messaging system that merely instructs value to move, often taking days to finalize. XRP flips this paradigm by actually transferring value in seconds without intermediaries. It is not just a message, it is the settlement itself. This same architecture makes XRP the natural bridge for tokenized gold. Imagine two nations trading, one using tokenized gold issued on a private central bank blockchain, the other using tokenized gold hosted on a public network. Without a bridge, the assets cannot interact, but XRP with its interoperability and liquidity pools connects them instantly. The gold moves not as bars shipped by sea, but as digital value flowing through the XRP ledger. Liquidity is another key. For tokenized gold to function globally, it must be liquid, able to convert into fiat, stablecoins, CBDCs, and other tokenized assets seamlessly. XRP's role as a neutral asset makes this possible. Market makers provide XRP liquidity against tokenized gold, enabling instant swaps without dependence on a single currency. In effect, XRP becomes the universal translator of value, and this neutrality is critical. Tokenized gold by design must remain apolitical. No single nation can dominate it. XRP mirrors this neutrality. It is not tied to a central government, not printed by decree, not subject to inflationary politics. This makes it the perfect counterweight: gold for trust, XRP for settlement. Together they form a system that no government can unilaterally control, yet all can use. Technology also matters. The XRP ledger was one of the first blockchains to allow issued assets, IOUs, representing real-world holdings. Gold-backed IOUs have existed on XRPL since its earliest days. The foundation is already there. As Ripple expands into tokenization platforms and CBDC pilots, the rails are being laid for tokenized gold to flow seamlessly through the network. The speed and scalability of XRP also give it an edge. Tokenized gold loses its value if transactions are slow or costly. Who wants to move a tokenized ounce of gold if it takes minutes to clear and costs $20 in fees? XRP settles in 3 to 5 seconds with fractions of a cent in cost. At global scale, this efficiency matters. It ensures tokenized gold isn't just a store of value but a functional medium of exchange. Consider what happens during financial crises. When fiat collapses, people rush to gold. But physical gold is cumbersome. Tokenized gold offers a solution, but only if it can be mobilized quickly and globally. XRP enables exactly that. In a crisis, XRP could unlock liquidity for tokenized gold at the speed of demand, giving nations, institutions, and individuals the lifeline they need. Skeptics argue XRP is just another crypto, but this misses the design. Bitcoin was built as digital gold. Ethereum was built as a decentralized world computer. XRP was built as a bridge, and bridges are only valuable when there is something worth moving across them. Tokenized gold could be the ultimate cargo. If gold is the eternal anchor of value, and XRP is the neutral bridge of liquidity, then their union may represent the financial system of the future: stable, mobile, and borderless. The old world and the new finally fused. Part 4, the reset scenario. Gold-backed currencies and XRP's role. The whispers of a global reset have grown louder. Debt has reached unsustainable levels. Inflation is eating away at savings. Confidence in fiat is waning. Behind closed doors, governments and central banks debate what comes next. And increasingly, gold finds itself back at the center of the conversation. Imagine this: the world agrees to re-anchor money to gold. But instead of a physical standard, it happens digitally. Each nation issues a central bank digital currency, CBDC, partially or fully backed by tokenized gold reserves. A US digital dollar tied to Fort Knox gold. a digital yuan tied to China's vaults, a euro backed by gold in Frankfurt and Paris. The numbers aren't just promises. They are verifiable, auditable, and traceable on blockchains. In such a world, trust in fiat would be restored, but with a modern twist. Tokenized gold would provide the anchor, ensuring currencies are grounded in tangible reserves. But the true challenge wouldn't be the creation of these currencies. It would be their movement. How do you convert between a gold-backed dollar and a gold-backed yuan? Between a euro and a rupee? How do you settle trade deals instantly in a fractured global economy? This is where XRP takes center stage. In the reset scenario, XRP doesn't replace gold or CBDCs. It doesn't compete with them. Instead, it acts as the neutral settlement layer, the bridge that connects them all. Picture this. A multinational trade deal requires payment in tokenized gold-backed currencies. The US settles in a digital dollar, the other side in a digital yuan. Rather than relying on SWIFT Nostro accounts or lengthy clearinghouses, XRP bridges the two instantly. Both sides settle in seconds. The gold stays in vaults, the tokens stay on their native chains, but the value flows seamlessly across borders through XRP. In this reset, XRP becomes the hidden engine of liquidity. Gold provides trust and stability. CBDCs provide national sovereignty. XRP provides mobility. Without it, the system fragments. With it, the system thrives. This is not a far-fetched theory. Ripple has already been working with central banks on CBDC pilots. The XRP ledger has a proven track record of handling issued assets. The building blocks are here. All it takes is the spark of crisis, and history shows crisis always brings change. The implications are staggering. The dollar, long the world's reserve currency, could lose its monopoly. If tokenized gold becomes the new anchor, reserves would no longer depend on US policy. Instead, they would depend on verifiable bullion held across nations. And XRP, neutral and global, would be the bridge. The world would no longer be forced to trust a single country. It would trust gold for value and XRP for movement. Of course, risks remain. Governments may resist ceding control. Competing technologies may try to claim the bridge role. But XRP's neutrality, efficiency, and decade-long track record put it ahead of the pack. When nations seek a solution that is fast, proven, and apolitical, XRP will be the logical choice. The Great Reset, then, would not be a collapse into chaos, but a reordering into a new system. A system where gold anchors money and XRP keeps it in motion. The question is not whether this reset is possible, but whether the world will have the courage to embrace it. Because when the debt bubble bursts, when fiat loses its grip, the choice will be stark. Cling to broken systems or build a new one where trust and technology work hand in hand. Gold and XRP may be the unlikely duo that carries us across the divide. Part 5. Risks, possibilities, and the future of a gold-XRP alliance. The vision of tokenized gold and XRP working hand in hand is compelling. Gold provides the anchor, XRP provides the bridge. Together, they could build the foundation of a stable, liquid, borderless financial system. But as with any bold future, risks and uncertainties remain. The risk skeptics argue that governments will never cede so much ground to a neutral asset like XRP. Nations guard their monetary sovereignty fiercely. Why would they allow a privately created digital asset to become the bloodstream of global settlement? The counterpoint is that XRP isn't seeking to replace their currencies or reserves, only to connect them. Still, political resistance remains a real possibility. Another risk lies in competition. Other networks will position themselves as bridges. Ethereum, Stellar, Quant, and even private bank-led platforms could all make a play. Yet none combine XRP's neutrality, efficiency, and adoption history. Even so, technological rivalries cannot be ignored. Then there is volatility. While XRP's speed and liquidity make it ideal for settlement, critics note its price fluctuations. Could nations trust a volatile asset to bridge their reserves? Supporters counter that volatility decreases as utility and adoption rise. If XRP becomes the bridge for tokenized gold, demand would stabilize its value naturally over time. The possibilities. Despite the risks, the possibilities are transformative. Imagine trade deals settled in tokenized gold, flowing seamlessly across borders. Imagine individuals holding fractional gold tokens, instantly exchangeable for any currency through XRP. Imagine a reset where money regains its anchor in tangible reserves but gains the mobility of the internet. This alliance could also change geopolitics. For decades, US dollar dominance has shaped global power. A shift to tokenized gold backed by multiple nations would democratize reserves. XRP, by bridging them, could ensure no single country holds the keys. It would be a system not of empire but of equilibrium. The impact on individuals would be just as profound. No longer would savings erode silently through inflation. A tokenized gold standard would protect purchasing power, while XRP would enable frictionless use. Ordinary people could transact in money as sound as gold, as fluid as data. The future. The road to this future will not be smooth. There will be resistance, setbacks, and rival visions, but the direction of travel is clear. Tokenization is coming. Gold is rising once more, and the world is searching for a bridge that is neutral, fast, and reliable. XRP fits that role like a lock and key. Ripple's work with financial institutions, CBDCs, and tokenization platforms suggests they are positioning for exactly this outcome. Whether the reset arrives suddenly through crisis or gradually through evolution, the rails are being laid. History has a rhythm. Empires rise and fall, but gold endures. Each reset brings a return to what the world trusts most. In the digital age, that return may not be to physical coins or bullion shipments, but to tokenized gold moving across the rails of XRP. The risks are real, the skeptics are loud, but the possibility is too great to ignore. A gold XRP alliance could mark the dawn of a new financial era, one rooted in the permanence of the past, powered by the technology of the future. And when the world asks what comes after fiat, the answer may be as old as civilization itself, and as new as the blockchain. Gold and XRP together could redefine the very meaning of money, the alliance of past and future. For millennia, gold has anchored money. For a decade, XRP has redefined how value moves. Alone, each is powerful. Together, they could form the foundation of a new financial order. In a reset world where debt is erased and trust must be rebuilt, tokenized gold could provide the stability. XRP could provide the speed. The past and future, fused into a system that is both ancient and revolutionary. The question is not just whether this alliance is possible, but whether you will be ready when it arrives. Because history rewards those who prepare before the storm, not after. This is why we dive deeper into stories others are afraid to tell. At LTL Productions, we don't just follow the news. We uncover the hidden rails of the Internet of Value. If you believe in the power of sound money and unstoppable settlement, subscribe now, join the movement, and prepare for what's next. The future isn't coming, it's already here. And it may just be written in gold and settled by XRP.